Meeting is being held at the Board of Ethics and Government Accountability at 1030 15th Street Northwest, Suite 700 West, and virtually. Joining me for this meeting are board members Darrin Sobin and Melissa Tucker. Board members Charles Nottingham and Felice Smith are joining us virtually. Together, the five of us constitute a quorum for this meeting. Since it was first posted, the agenda has not changed, so please take a minute to review the agenda, and then we'll have entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
Make that motion.
Okay, there's a motion to adopt the agenda. Is there a second?
I'll second it, that motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we adopt the agenda for today's meeting. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Hearing none, the board has adopted the agenda for today's meeting. Also before us today are the minutes from the the August 2024 meeting. And will a member please make a motion that we consider approval of these meeting minutes?
I'll offer the motion that we approve the meeting minutes from the August meeting.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that the board consider approval of the August 2024 meeting minutes. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Hearing none, the board approves the August 2024 meeting minutes. The next item on the agenda is the October 2024 meeting date. The board approved October 3rd as the meeting date for the next meeting. Due to the board members' availability for that date, it appears that the board will not have enough members to constitute a quorum on the date. It looks like the meeting will likely be able to establish a quorum on October 10th, 2024. So is there a motion to move the date of the October meeting from October 3rd to October 10th?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the board move the October meeting from October 3rd to October 10th. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Sorry, any opposed?
That's at noon.
That's at noon on October 10th. Okay. Are there any nays? Hearing none, the board approves a date of October 10th, 2024 at noon for the meeting originally scheduled for October 3rd, 2024. The next item on our agenda is a report from the Office of Open Government. Director Niquelle Allen is not in attendance today, and Chief Counsel Louis Neal will provide the report on behalf of the office. Chief Counsel Neal, please proceed.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, Chairperson Hutcheson and members of the board. I'm Louis Neal, Chief Counsel for the Office of Open Government, and I'm pleased to present this report on the activities of the Office of Open Government on behalf of Director Niquelle Allen. Since the last board meeting, OOG has continued to fulfill its mission of ensuring that all persons receive full and complete information regarding the affairs of the District of Columbia government and the actions of those who represent them. Open Meetings Act and Freedom of Information Act advice. Advisory opinion. FOIA advice concerning denials due to significant interference with the agency's systems, OOG-2023-006. On August 26, 2024, the Office of Open Government issued a DC FOIA advisory opinion in response to requests for advice from an agency's FOIA officer. The advisory opinion addressed whether the Deputy Mayor for Planning and Economic Development, DPED's denial of a DC FOIA request was proper when DPED denied the request as unreasonable because searching for, retrieving, redacting, and delivering so many emails would significantly interfere with the operation of DPED's automated information system. The DC FOIA requester insisted that DPED's FOIA officer use specific search terms to locate the email records he requested. DPED's FOIA officer executed the search in the specific manner requested. This search yielded thousands of unresponsive email records and caused the agency's computer system to malfunction. OOG advised that DPED may properly refuse to undertake an email search with the DC FOIA requester's specific search terms because of the significant interference with the agency's system. Courts view this action as proper when it is supported by evidence of an actual significant interference. It cannot be a prescriptive denial. Notwithstanding, DC case law also suggests that DMPED should, in good faith, carry out the reasonable email search with the search terms that its FOIA officer and OCTO estimated would likely produce the requested records. This more reasonable search included targeted search terms likely to produce responsive records and do not disrupt DMPED's systems. Informal advice. Since the last board meeting, OOG has responded informally via email or telephone to requests for assistance as follows: 4 requests for OMA advice, 8 requests for FOIA advice, and 10 requests for technical assistance with open-dc.gov. Meeting monitoring. OOG staff attends public bodies meetings in person and remotely to ensure compliance with the OMA. They also inspect public bodies' websites and OOG's central meeting calendar for public meeting notices and records. OOG attorneys provide legal advice on OMA compliance and take corrective actions if necessary. Since the last board meeting, OOG's legal staff attended 18 public body meetings. As a result of the monitoring, OOG communicated 3 corrective measures. The public body failed to do the following: 1, cite the OMA regulatory statement; 2, post-meeting agenda; and 3, post-meeting cancellation. Training and outreach. DC FOIA webinar series, DC FOIA litigation update, recent records access cases. On August 6, 2024, the Office of Open Government presented DC FOIA litigation update, recent records access FOIA cases, facilitated by Attorney Advisor Anthony J. Skirbo. The webinar highlighted the FOIA litigation process, impactful DC FOIA cases, reviewed the latest appellate opinions from the Mayor's Office of Legal Counsel, and outlined how to search for them. I, along with Director Allen, Attorney Lewis, and Paralegal Brown, attended the webinar. National Institute for Trial Advocacy, NITA, Building Trial Skills. From August 12th through the 16th, 2024, Attorney Skirbo attended the National Institute for Trial Advocacy Building Trial Skills course at Hofstra University, which included instructions and practical exercises in delivering persuasive opening statements and closing arguments, maximizing the effect of direct examination, mastering the admission and use of exhibits, and honing cross-examination skills, and learning the most persuasive way to impeach witnesses. DC FOIA Officers Webinar Series, Preparing for a FOIA Civil Case Defensive Litigation. On August 13, 2024, attorneys Adam Daniel and Brendan Heath from the DC Office of the Attorney General, Civil Litigation Division, presented information on how to prepare for a FOIA civil case. I, along with Director Allen, Attorney Lewis, and Paralegal Brown, attended the session. Gov Delivery Administrator Training 101. On August 13, 2024, Paralegal Brown attended the Granicus Gov Delivery Service live webinar, Gov Delivery Administrator Training 101. The webinar provided a demonstration of topic administrator functions, system navigation, and program utilization. AI Values Alignment Advisory Group Training. On August 14, 2024, Director Allen attended the Office of the Chief Technology Officer presentation, Artificial Intelligence, Values Alignment Advisory Group Training. The session included an overview of the AI Values Alignment Project and its importance, review of the Mayor's orders on AI, and interactive discussions on ethical considerations and best practices concerning AI. A stroll through the juvenile justice system. On August 23rd, Senior Assistant Attorney General Dave Rosenthal from the Office of the Attorney General for the District of Columbia presented A Stroll Through the Juvenile Justice System. The presentation provided key definitions and an overview of the juvenile adjudication process. Director Allen, Attorney Skirbo, and Paralegal Brown attended the session. DC Bar Pro Bono Center's Bankruptcy Training Series. On August 22nd, 29th, and September 5th, 2024, Attorney Skirbo participated in DC Bar Pro Bono Center's Bankruptcy Training Series. Center for Creative Leadership Welcome Session. On August 27th, 2024, Director Allen attended a welcome webinar hosted by the Center for Creative Leadership's Leadership Development Program. The webinar included an introduction to the Leadership Development Institute at Eckerd College, and the members of her leadership cohort. Director Allen is also completing the in-person intensive training portion of LDP this week. COGO Connect training. On August 29, 2024, Director Allen attended a webinar hosted by the Council on Government Ethics Laws, COGO, concerning best practices in facilitating and hosting training courses. The webinar was titled COGO Connect, and the facilitator was Anne-Sophie Saint-Gelais, Communications and Institution Relations Advisor, Office of the Ethics Commissioner of the Quebec National Assembly. Supreme Court term review and preview for fiscal year 25. On September 4th, 2024, Solicitor General Carolyn Van Zyl and Principal Deputy Solicitor General Ashwin Phatak facilitated Supreme Court term review and preview for fiscal year 25. The presentation provided a review of term decisions from the Supreme Court's last term and previewed upcoming cases for the next term. Attorney Skirbo and Paralegal Brown attended the presentation. OMA training for Mundo Verde PCS. On September 3rd, 2024, Attorney Skirbo facilitated Open Meetings Act training for Mundo Verde PCS. The presentation included an overview of the OMA for public charter schools. Attorney Lewis and OGC's newest attorney advisor, Joan Lelma, attended this session. DC Bar Pro Bono Center's Small Business Advice Clinic. On September 5th, 2024, Attorney Skirbo volunteered with the DC Bar Pro Bono Center's Small Business Advice Clinic, which provides brief legal information to small business owners and prospective entrepreneurs who operate in economically disadvantaged areas or who have limited financial resources. DC Bar Pro Bono Center's Immigration Clinic. On September 7, 2024, Attorney Skirbo volunteered with DC Bar Pro Bono Center's Immigration Clinic, which provides legal information, brief advice, and referral services to qualified individuals and families. Legislation and legislative updates. Litigation. DC Open Government Coalition versus the District, case number 2023-CAB-007251, DC Superior Court. As Director Allen has previously reported, this case involves DGOGC's suit seeking an accounting of the backlog of public records submitted through the FOIA Express public access link. A status hearing is set for September 13th, 2024 at 2 p.m. OOG staff will continue to monitor. Gooch versus District Metropolitan Police Department, case number 2023-CAB-002404, DC Superior Court. Director Allen first reported on this case in December 2023. A requester plaintiff sued the district for records related to his conviction. He had received partly redacted records. Cross motions for summary judgment were filed. The district argued that the redactions were correct applications of DC FOIA's privacy exemptions and other law exemption, namely the Driver Privacy Protection Amendment Act of 2012's prohibition on the release and use of certain personal information from motor vehicle records and accident reports. On July 2nd, the Superior Court denied the district's motion for summary judgment. The court concluded that the record contained a genuine factual dispute regarding surveillance footage. While MPD contends the footage is not responsive to the FOIA request, the court found that Mr. Gooch's broader request likely encompasses evidentiary materials collected and retained by MPD, including surveillance footage. Regarding the redactions, the court found that it could not conclude that MPD's stated interest in privacy outweighed the public's interest in disclosure. Specifically, the court expressed its skepticism that the broad redaction of witness statements was necessary to fulfill MPD's stated interest in witness protection and witness privacy. On July 24, 2024, the district filed a motion for reconsideration of its motion for summary judgment. Following the court's denial of its defendant's motion for reconsideration of its motion for summary judgment, the next status hearing is set for September 18, 2024 at 2 p.m. The court order, as well as the district's motion for reconsideration, are in Dropbox. OOG staff will continue to monitor. Tax Analyst versus District, case number 2024-CA-001999. As Director Allen has previously reported, Tax Analyst, a publisher of tax journals, and reporter Aaron Davis both sued the district under DC FOIA after the Office of Tax Revenue, OTR, denied the request for 24 private letter rulings, or PLRs. PLRs respond to circumstances and data submitted by particular taxpayers, but the advice given in them has broader applicability. And so the requester appellants argued that OTR must still release them after redacting the specific details that would identify the underlying taxpayers. Following the filing of defendant's amended bond index on July 18, 2024, a status hearing has been scheduled for December 2nd, 2024. Tamel DuBose versus District. This is the previously reported case involving Board of Dentistry disciplinary records. The latest hearing was held remotely on August 23, 2024. The defendant is expected to file a renewed motion for summary judgment by September 13, 2024, with plaintiff to file a response by September 27, 2024. A remote status hearing is set for November 1, 2024. Chicago Justice Project. This is an update of CJP's suit to compel the Metropolitan Police Department to release certain records concerning the gang trafficking and analysis system in a dispute between an advanced fee for MPD demand for its FOIA review and a similar amount that CJP demanded in attorney's fees. We have previously reported that the attorney for the defendant made representations that the parties entered into a settlement agreement in December. The case has been stayed. A motion for withdrawal was filed by the plaintiff, the Chicago Justice Project, on August 9th, 2024. An order granting motion was e-filed, e-served, and signed on August 22nd, 2024. A remote status hearing is scheduled for September 13th, 2024. Leslie Richards versus D.C. Finance and Treasury. Director Allen has previously reported on this pro se case in which the plaintiff appellant sought information about a disbursement. The Superior Court dismissed the complaint because the plaintiff failed to properly serve the district, nor state a claim upon which relief could be granted. The requester appealed. On July 8, 2024, the district filed a motion for summary affirmance on the Superior Court's dismissal. The court argued that on appeal, the plaintiff failed to challenge the reasons for the dismissal and offered no basis for reversal. The plaintiff appellant filed a response to the district's motion on July 15, 2024. The district's motion for summary affirmance is in Dropbox. The plaintiff appellant's response has not been uploaded to the Court of Appeals website just yet. OOG staff will continue to monitor. Legislation. Act A25-0496-DC Water Critical Infrastructure Freedom of Information Clarification Emergency Amendment Act of 2024. As mentioned previously, this measure was introduced on June 10, 2024, passed on June 11, 2024, signed by the mayor on June 26, 2024, and published in the D.C. Register on July 5, 2024. This temporary legislation will expire on September 24, 2024. The mayor stated her intent to work with the council to enact permanent legislation, and OOG will continue to monitor any new developments. Administrative matters. OOG welcomes Attorney Advisor Joan Lelma. On August 27th, Joan Lelma joined OOG staff as Attorney Advisor. Attorney Lelma holds a Bachelor of Laws degrees with honors degree from the University of the West Indies, a legal education certificate from Norman Manley Law School, a Master's of Law degree in Public International Law from the University of London, Queen Mary, and a Master of Divinity from Oral Roberts University. We're pleased to have Joan with us. This concludes the Office of Open Government September 12, 2024 report, and I'm happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Thank you, Chief Counsel Neal. Are there any questions? Joan here. Welcome, Joan.
Would you stand up really quickly?
Welcome.
Welcome, Joan.
Okay, there are no questions. The next item on the agenda is a report from the Director of the Office of Government Ethics, Director Ashley Cooks. Director Cooks, please proceed.
Good afternoon, Chairperson Hutcheson and members on the board. I am Ashley Cooks, Director of the Office of Government Ethics. I'm pleased to present this report on activities of the Office of Government Ethics, OGE. First, an update on the status of OGE operations. The information reported today regarding OGE's case will not reflect any status changes that may occur because of actions taken by the board during today's meeting. For open investigations by status, we have a grand total of 63 matters. Open undocketed matters, we have a grand total of 9. Pending state investigations by status, we have 35 matters that are closed pending collection. 3 matters stayed pending DC Superior Court case. 5 matters stayed for OIG investigation. 2 matters stayed for U.S. District Court case for a grand total of 45. For regulatory matters by status, we have 32 matters that are closed pending collection, 277 matters that are open for a grand total of 309. Again, we currently have 63 open investigations and 10 matters that are stayed. The number of open preliminary and formal investigations includes 31 new matters. The investigative team resolved 30 investigations since the board last met. This total does not reflect the number of complaints that were dismissed for lack of jurisdiction. OGE has continued its communications and referrals to the Chief Financial Officer's Central Collection Unit, CCU, for collection of delinquent debts. We continue holding regular meetings with the CCU team. On August 9th, OGE published its quarterly complaint report and ethics heat map for the third quarter of fiscal year 2024. OGE closed 77 matters. Over a third of the matters closed, 37% or 28 out of 77 matters involved allegations that were outside of Bega's jurisdiction. The remaining 49 matters closed in the third quarter include 3 matters that are still pending collection of civil penalty, 3 matters that were consolidated with other matters, 2 matters referred to another agency, and 1 matter where a regulatory matter was initiated. For the 49 closed matters within Bega's jurisdiction, allegations of preferential treatment and or lack of impartiality and misuse of government resources were at the top of the list, accounting for 10 matters or 21% each. Violations of the rules governing outside activity or employment accounting for 7 matters, which is 14%, and use of confidential information for 5 matters, 10% while allegations of using public office for private gain and retaliation each had 4 matters. Rounding out the list were violation of the gifts rule, conflict of interest, and close employment restrictions at 2 matters each, and violation of the representation and nepotism rules and the financial disclosure requirements with 1 matter each. A copy of the quarterly complaint report was placed in Dropbox. Next is an update on trainings and outreach. First, professional development training attended by staff. Investigator Eliana Corrales took the following Whitlander and Delinsky trainings. First, interview environmental factors. Second, applied investigative logic and incorporating drama-informed principles in all interviews. Senior Attorney Advisor Lynn Tran and Supervisory Attorney Asia Stewart Mitchell attended the 4-day Society for Corporate Compliance and Ethics Basic Training and Ethics Compliance Academy in downtown DC. General Counsel Raj took the following trainings: Hot Topics in Ethics and Risk Management, Payment Net Demonstration by the DC Office of Contracting and Procurement, Ethics and Conflicts of Interest Laws, Practice 2004, Global Connect Training Edition on Training Strategy, Timing is Everything, and the DC Office of the Attorney General's Supreme Court Term Review and Preview for FY25. For trainings conducted by staff, since the August board meeting, OGE conducted 8 trainings, which included 3 new employee orientation ethics trainings, August and September monthly ethics trainings, August and September monthly hashtag trainings, and the August Ethics Counselor Brown Bag session. On Monday, August 26th, General Counsel Raj presented the Ethics Counselor Brown Bag session with guest speaker Matthew Wilcoxon, the Deputy Inspector General for External Affairs at the DC Office of Inspector General. This session offered brief overviews of OIG and Bega's agency duties, areas of overlap, how ethics counselors can decide where to send a complaint. 30 ethics counselors attended to ask questions. A copy of the presentation is placed in Dropbox for your review. During the month of August, 786 employees completed ethics training using PeopleSoft, and 11 employees were added to the learning management system. On August 28th, the learning management system was upgraded to include images for a new look to the end user interface and enhanced abilities for Bega admins to tailor the site for learners. We continue to work with LRN to ensure that we are maximizing the system's capability. Next is an update on outreach. OGE is in the final planning stages of our annual Ethics Week 2024, which will take place October 15th through the 18th. This year's theme is Empowered by Ethics, and the courses are designed to provide attendees with knowledge and ways to apply ethics and open government rules. The first 2 days of the conference will take place at our office, with the remaining days will be virtual. We plan to offer new courses such as common ethics violations, learn from them and avoid them, a recusal workshop, and a fireside chat, journalism and ethics, as well as traditional courses such as parliamentary procedure and being ethical is harder than you think. We're finalizing guest speakers and working on presentations, which will be ready before September ends. A copy of the most recent schedule was published on the website and placed in the Dropbox for your review. Lastly, OGE published the 4th issue of its bi-monthly newsletter, Ethically Speaking, on August 16th. A copy was placed in the Dropbox for your reading pleasure. Next is an update on advisory opinions and advice. First, informal advice. OGE's legal staff provided advice for approximately 66 ethics inquiries, which is 42 more than 24 reported at the last board meeting. This number does not include the responses we provided to questions regarding the lobbyists and FDSE filing systems. For an update on formal advisory opinions, as mentioned last month, 3 advisory opinions were published on July 12, 2024 for a 30-day comment period. We received several comments on the advisory opinion concerning the Advisory Neighborhood Commission sign-on letters. This advisory opinion responds to the Office of the Advisory Neighborhood Commission's request for advice on the parameters around the drafting, circulating, and sending of sign-on letters by advisory neighborhood commissioners. This advisory opinion is still in edit, and we intend to repost it with another comment period. The other 2 advisory opinions mentioned last month, titled Guidance on Social Media Use for Official Purposes by District Government Elected Officials and District Government Employees, and Post-Employment Attorney Appearance Advisory Opinion, have not received any comments and were sent to the DC Register to be finalized this week. We anticipate they will be published on Friday, September 20th, 2024. OGE published an additional 2 advisory opinions upon request since the last board meeting. The first was written by request and provides guidance to the Mayor's Office of the Senior Advisor, OSA, regarding whether representatives of OSA may attend the 2024 Democratic National Convention to present information regarding DC statehood. The second was request for guidance on the district's ethics rules pertaining to serving as the president and CEO of an organization that does business with the district. Both are published on Bega's website and were sent to the DC Register for publication. Copies were placed in the Dropbox. Next is an update on legislation and rulemaking. The first is financial disclosure rulemaking. OGE has identified boards and commission members that do not meet the definition of public official under DC Official Code Section 1-1161.0147 and don't file financial disclosure forms, even though they engage in conduct that creates a financial conflict of interest or the appearance of a conflict of interest. OGE drafted a proposed rulemaking that would designate those board and commission members as public financial disclosure statement filers. After a 30-day comment period, the second proposed rulemaking, which contained minor edits and added 4 additional boards, was published on July 12, 2024. The 30-day comment period ended on August 12th. The rulemaking will become final after a final notice is sent to the register. Finally, we're in the process of drafting another rulemaking which addresses technical and some minor substantive changes to the financial disclosure regulations. This rulemaking will provide clarity for regulations that are ambiguous and corrects language that aligns with the Ethics Act and Chapter 18 of the District Personnel Regulations. Lobbying registration fees and fines. The enactment of The fiscal year 2025 Budget Support Act of 2024 will amend the Ethics Act by increasing lobbying registration fees and fines. Specifically, the act increases lobbying registration fees from $250 to $350 for for-profit entities and from $50 to $100 for nonprofit entities. It also increases the late filing fee from a maximum of a $300 fine to a $6,000 fine. The increases will become effective on October 1st, 2024. OGE is in the process of rolling out a campaign to make lobbyists and their clients aware of the changes. Notice has been posted on the lobbying page of the Bega website. Next is an update on OGE administrative matters. First, attorney advisor vacancy. OGE is in the final stages of filling its attorney advisor vacancy. The position was posted in July, and after 2 rounds of interviews, we have selected the candidate. Pending passage of suitability standards, the candidate will start at the end of this month. Next is an update on financial disclosure statement, FDS. Pursuant to D.C. Official Code Sections 1-1162.24 and 1-1162.5, public officials and certain government employees must file a financial disclosure statement as a means of transparency and to prevent engaging in conduct that violates the financial conflicts of interest statute. Bega is responsible for ensuring that employees and public officials who meet the statutory requirement file their annual financial disclosure statement. The 2024 FDS season has closed. The 2024 financial disclosure statements, which were due on May 15, 2024, have been submitted. Through July 2024, 94% of designated filers submitted their statements. The FDS team has begun enforcement measures for those filers who did not submit their statements in a timely manner. The fine notice was sent to those individuals on August 7, 2024. Several recipients filed fine waiver requests. The FDS team scrubbed the list for OPRS, removing those seeking waivers and those who have left the district government. A list of confirmed active non-filers and a list of non-filers who have left the district will be shared with the Office of Pay and Retirement Services for processing of garnishments. Finally, Attorney Auditor Courtney Walker has completed the FY23 designated filers audit. Next is an update on lobbying registration and reporting, LRR. Pursuant to D.C. Official Code Section 1-1162.27A, a person who receives compensation or expends funds in an amount of $250 or more in the 3 consecutive calendar month period for lobbying shall register with the Director of Government Ethics and pay the required registration fee. According to D.C. Official Code Section 1-1162.30, each registrant shall file a quarterly report concerning the registrant's lobbying activity during the previous quarter. Pursuant to D.C. Official Code Section 1-1162.29B2, the Office of Government Ethics publishes a summary of registered lobbyists information submitted to the office on or before August 15, 2024 by persons registered as lobbyists with the director. The summary was published in the D.C. Register on August 2nd, 2024. The deadline for 3rd quarter reporting for 2024 is October 15th. OGE will send reminder notices to registrants and attorney advisor Maurice Eccles and program coordinator Stan Kosick will give their quarterly LRR training on September 25th. As previously stated, registration fees and late filing fees will increase on October 1st, 2024. And last is a report of public investigations. We have 2 matters. The first one is 24-0009F, Henry Aretha Chapman. This is a formal investigation based on allegations that the respondent violated the outside employment restrictions by working 5 or 6 hours per day, but claiming 8 or 9 hours on her timesheet. That she violated the government property restrictions by obtaining confidential information under false pretenses and violated the prohibition on using public office or private gain by using her status as a DC public school employee to obtain confidential information. A hearing is scheduled for November 14th, 2024. Last matter is 24-0010F, Henry Marcellus Willis. This is a formal investigation based on a complaint that the respondent, former employee of the University of the District of Columbia, used the government purchase card to make unauthorized purchases. Respondent worked at UDC for 5 years and was responsible for handling procurement for the university. The board approved a notice of violation at the last meeting, which contained allegations that respondent violated DPM section 1800.3G by using public office or private gain, and DPM section 1808.1 by failing to protect and conserve government property. Respondent was personally served with the NOV but failed to respond. A public hearing will be scheduled in this matter. Thank you. This concludes the Office of Government Ethics, September 12th report. I welcome any questions you may have.
Thank you, Director Cooks. Are there any questions?
Just two comments. First, it's long overdue that we went from $300 as a maximum penalty for lobbyists to $5,000. 12 years in the making, by the way, because before that, you could just write it off as the cost of doing business at $300. So that's excellent that that's finally going through. And the other thing, I just wanted to comment on your newsletter. I thought it was outstanding, very well done. The reference to the Supreme Court case in Snyder is very troubling about how bribery cases now don't include after the fact payments, that there needs to be an agreement beforehand. And unfortunately, it seems to be a trend with cases like the McDonald case when it comes to making it more challenging to enforce anti-corruption rules at our level. But anyway, with that said, I thought the newsletter was great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I have a question.
Yes.
Director Cooks, you mentioned an advisory opinion, if I heard correctly, regarding a DC employee asking about attending a political convention. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? I know it's in the Dropbox, but I just want to hear your sort of summary, or if you can, or we can do it, at the next meeting if you need to.
No, sure. We got a request from the mayor's office of the senior advisor asking whether they could attend the Democratic National Convention to speak on DC statehood. According to the local Hatch Act, political activity does not include speaking on matters that involve voting rights, statehood, or other activity that is not for the success of a political party or candidate or part of someone running for party for the office within the district. So we got the request from the mayor's office. We looked at the facts, we analyzed it, and we determined that going to the convention and talking about statehood was not political activity, so they were allowed to go to the convention, but only to engage in those statehood activities to inform people of activities going on within the district that promote statehood, not to engage in political activity.
And is it fair to assume that the employee in question's expenses would be then reimbursed by the DC government? So it would be like a fifth travel?
They were paid for by the district, yes.
Okay. I guess I just find that a little bit troubling. There's different ways people can submit opinions or comments remotely in writing or attend as a private citizen. I just wonder about that. I'll take that under advisement myself and think about that a little bit, but I just find it a little troubling if let's say there were multiple parties out there, and people wanted to go to, their favorite convention to opine on issues, granted not political issues. I just think it's a little bit troubling to have the DC government paying for employees to go to political gatherings when their opinions on matters can easily be submitted in ways that are a lot less expensive. But I'll just flag that as a concern. My other just question was, you mentioned that I guess the undocketed matters is now at 9. We've certainly seen that number a lot higher than that in years past, but we've seen it, thanks to your good work, we've seen it lower than that in recent months. Does that number seem to be inching up? And is there anything you can report to us about the trend on undocketed matters?
So yes, undocketed matters, 9 is a bit higher than we've had in for most recent board meetings. And undocketed matters are those matters that either have just come into the office and we haven't made a decision of whether we're going to convert it to an investigation, or they're matters that are outside of our jurisdiction and are just waiting to be dismissed. So we received an influx of cases just this week. I would say about half of those we haven't, well, less than half. We haven't looked at those to determine whether we would convert them, and the other half are just waiting pending dismissal, which will probably take place after the board meeting or tomorrow. But 9 is higher than we usually had at this time. It's just that we've gotten a big influx this week.
I thought there would be an explanation like that, and I appreciate that. That answers my question. Thanks. I have nothing more to ask, but thanks. Your report was excellent, and I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Did you have something? Thank you, Director Cooks. Okay. The next item on the agenda is public comments. The public was invited to submit comments in writing by 11 a.m. today, and we received one public comment. Members of the public in attendance at this meeting have an opportunity to make a comment at this time. If there are no additional comments from the public, we'll proceed to the next item on the agenda. That's our executive session. The next item is a closed session to discuss ongoing confidential investigations pursuant to D.C. Official Code Section 2-575B4, to consult with an attorney to obtain legal advice and to preserve the attorney-client privilege between an attorney and a public body pursuant to D.C. Official Code Section 2-575B4A, to discuss personnel matters including the appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, performance evaluation, compensation, discipline, demotion, removal, or resignation of government appointees, employees, or officials pursuant to D.C. Official Code Section 2-575B10, to deliberate on a decision in which the Ethics Board will exercise quasi-judicial functions pursuant to D.C. Official Code Section 2-575B13, and to discuss contract negotiation strategies pursuant to D.C. Official Code Section 2-575B2. And may I have a motion to enter into executive session?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the board enter into executive session. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Okay. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously. Board members, please log off of this meeting and into the executive session, sign into the executive session, or move over to the boardroom for the executive session. We will return to this meeting after the Hey, good afternoon. The time is now 1:19, and we are back on the record. In executive session, the board took the following actions. The board approved a notice of final rulemaking to amend the financial disclosure regulations. The notice will be published in the DC Register. The board approved a notice of hearing and scheduling order in matter 24-0010-F, in re Marcellus Willis. The board dismissed 23-0005-F, in re Larry Garrett. The board voted to open formal investigations in 2 matters, but to stay those matters pending resolution of criminal cases. Those matters are 24-0014-F, in re Dana Garnett, and 24-0016-F, in re Trayon White. The board approved a negotiated disposition in matter 24-0086-P in Ray A. Akeri Dulu. The time is now, what is it? 1:22. And this concludes the meeting of the DC Board of Ethics and Government Accountability. The next meeting will be held here at 1030 15th Street Northwest, Suite 700 West, and virtually on October 10th, 2024 at 12 noon.